So our next speaker is Michał Guzowski. He's an expert in the area of digital transformation, automation, and integration. He's the CEO and co-founder of two companies, Developico and No Code Masters. He's awarded the Microsoft MVP in the title of Business Applications 3 times. He's the founder of No Code Days conference, also initiator and member of the program board of the No Code Developer Studies at the Warsaw University of Technology. If you have, during the presentation by Mike, if you have any questions, you want some topics to be highlighted, please do type the questions in the comment section. Michał, I hand the microphone over to you.
Thank you, Łukasz. Just confirm that you can hear me.
We can hear you.
Perfect. Okay, so hi everyone. As Łukasz said, I'm Mike. And as Łukasz said, I do a lot of awareness activities, educational activities, and implementation activities around no-code, low-code. I'm mainly focused on medium and large companies because of the processes complexity that is the most interesting to us. In Developico, we have 30 people, from which 20 are like citizen developers, we can say. I don't know if you're familiar with the citizen developer, but after this session you will be. I promise that. One more thing before I'll just jump to the main topic. As I said, what I will show you and tell you today is built out of the Microsoft recommendations, PMI recommendations regarding adoption, and also out of the experience we had out of the projects we delivered for our customers, and for some of them we worked with them for like 3 years. Yeah, and most of around 90% of our projects are fully delivered using low-code, no-code tools, platforms. Just a couple more marketing slides. I have to, sorry, excuse me. But now let's jump into the topic. So, I bet everyone here are familiar and aware that there are a lot of stuff to be done in organizations regarding the processes, regarding the analog handling of documents, and there is no time to deliver everything using, let's say, regular programming. The main reason for that is because the pace of the business environment is constantly accelerating, especially regarding business customers' needs, your business customer needs, and there are too much work to be delivered. I have customers that, for instance, just to reply for a request for the application from the let's say internal marketing team or internal financial team, so just the response takes around 3 months, and putting the delivery in the pipeline of the internal IT team can be even in 1.5 years. So this shows you, and this is quite a big company. They have 16 people just in RPA tools. So this is unfortunately a common situation. And what I can also say is that many companies struggle with, I could name it like, trust the innovation that is happening around the market. I'll cover this topic a little bit more in a second, but just to give you an example of how digital transformation currently state is. By digital transformation, I mean let's say, custom coding the solutions. So it allows to cover some part of the needs, but a lot of processes needs from the internal teams is unhandled. It cannot be delivered because of the long pipeline or just not enough resources. So this is when all these no code low code tools, and by no code low code I mean no code platforms, I mean AI bot builders, AI builders, I mean RPAs, so robotic processing automations, all of this stuff that actually doesn't require fully coding skills, but just let's say more simplified functional language coding. By the way, I was a programmer, software programmer for like 6 years, so everything I say regarding time benefits, shorter time benefits, is not out of the marketing slides, but is out of my experience. And when I say that like building low code solutions is much easier, I mean it. I tried it by myself, and I can compare it by my own experience. Anyway, using this no code low code tools allows to deliver projects in a different way, in a way that was not possible before. And currently there is a new, let's say, a name for this faster pace, which is called hyper-digital transformation. There is also hyper-agile. There is citizen developers that are delivering this hyper projects. I know that might be confusing, or maybe just makes smile on your face, but well, the market, the digital transformation market, the market of all project management foundations and NGOs, like for instance PMI, is still not consolidated in the name format. But let's stick for now with the whatever is later, like hyper digital transformation or hyper agile, whatever. Actually, let's focus on the center, the body of this whole new approach. So, like I said, these hyper tools, this no-code, low-code tools, allows to implement much more topics, much more projects, leaving a space for the, let's say, regular coding to implement what is the super critical for the business and requires focus on the, let's say, pro devs. When I say no code, low code, maybe some of you is a little bit confused what I'm talking about. So just to give you quick examples, here you can say one of the platforms that is available on the market. And as you can see, this animation is like 30 seconds or 60 seconds long. And it presents end-to-end scenario that is integrating 4 different channels. And this is like complete scenario that is ready to be used in production. And everything can be done just by, you need to realize what you need, and the platform gives you an opportunity to deliver that. This is the loop repeated animation. So like you could see that I was integrating 4 different channels in a couple of 10 seconds. If I would need to code that, it won't be possible to deliver that fast. Of course, there's also applications. Many people mainly refer, when they think about low code, no code applications, they think about very simple ones. But actually they can be a little bit more complex and aggregate more data to be displayed in the dashboards. But also it can be very easily integrated with AI tools and AI softwares some SaaS AI tools that helps with the regular maintenance or regular processes inside organization. This is case from the Budimex, for instance, to recognize the this number in the card that tells you how far it went. Well, I don't know the English name. Sorry for that. But coming back to the digital transformation challenges, let's see what are the actually benefits of using the hyper digital transformation approach. First of all, we are not replacing the IT resources, but rather helping them out. We are supporting them in the deliveries. So don't mix that with the replacing. I know what CEO of NVIDIA said, but I believe that what he said is true, but in the couple tens or even 100 years far. So yeah. Anyway, with these tools, you can deliver much faster. You can also save money, and you can also aggregate, get access to the data that was not available before. And this is not something that actually is made up, but is conferred by customers, real customers, real customers. But what is the problem with this hyper digital transformation, and what is this session is about? Is to actually governance this whole process and somehow order particular activities around it. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how your Center of Excellence team could mature in this approach. But first of all, couple common situations, common maybe quotes from your own organizations or own project teams or own developers. So first example is when you're talking with the IT team or CTO and you're explaining them, okay, we are now going to deliver this solution using low-code, no-code AI. We build this bot, whatever. And they say, cool toys, but well, can we get back to professional tools? I mean, Visual Studio or whatever. Yeah, so they're not really enthusiastic about using no-code, low-code for many reasons. One of these reasons is governance, how to control everything. But this is something I'm going to show you as well today. I don't want to walk through all these scenarios because we have no time for that. But if you read it, you probably be familiar with maybe even all of them. If you ask me, yeah, I made by myself all of these quotes from the IT team in the of my customers. So the hyper digital transformation maturity model. This is something that came out of the PMI recommendations, Microsoft recommendations, my own experience. This is the model that actually tries to categorize what is happening on the particular phases in the organizations when they are trying to use no-code, low-code. And I'd like to give you some advices how to organize this process to mature. So first stage is probably well known. Organization is just, they just hear that there is something like no-code, low-code. Let's check it out. They're trying to find something on the market that will suit their needs, and there is a lot of different platforms to be used. So they are confused, but whoa, let's try something. One of the very good advices is to try to use something that is already in your organization, that you already have licenses for. If you don't have, then if you ask me as a Microsoft MVP and Microsoft partner, I would recommend using Microsoft tools. In all of these categories, you can find Microsoft equivalent alternative for other products. Why personally I like using Microsoft is that they are already compliant with the EU regulations. They have also very good integration between their different products, but also they are not closed for the extendability. End of selling. Sorry. when the organization or some project manager, this champion in the inside of the organization select specific tools, they start to scramble around and trying to build something and try making some improvements in the processes. But what I observed is that they're not well organized, and they don't have process to follow to build some arguments for the business values for the future sponsors inside organizations. And this is something that actually I'd like to emphasize in the next stage that actually I'm mainly working with. So the first stage in the, let's say, professionalizing step or the group is delivering some needs, some projects, some, let's say, low-hanging fruits. If you don't know what is low-hanging fruit, it is the some need, a requirement from the business that just out of the blue you have a gut feeling that it should be delivered pretty quickly, and this should give you big value. But of course, this is mainly gut feeling. There are no deep analysis because this is not part of this exercise. How you can generate more such ideas, I would give you some tips later, but also you should be aware that people talk about it. There are a lot of gossips in your organization. So I'd like to quickly present you how you can verify whether specific platform will really give you benefits for organizations and could be used. And you can also, blaze this whole trail from the idea to delivery to set it on production. So there's something called hyper-sprint. Hyper-sprint is a 1 week, like 5 days long, not more, not less, 5 days long sprint, where the first day you're analyzing this, quickly analyzing the needs to understand what should be delivered. Then you implement MVP, and just to remind you, MVP is not part of the final solution, but is part of the is a solution, final solution that brings us closer to our goal, which is, for instance, as you can see in this image, you need to travel faster by using skateboard than by using this whatever. So yeah. First day will be the analysis, and this step should be delivered by a person that actually understands the technology, but also can really get into the real needs in the business. Many business owners, process owners are not aware, like fully aware, that what their need. It's like sometimes the business behaves like they're coming to the doctor and they're telling them what they are ill for, what is their illness, and what medicines they need. Even though actually the specialist behind the desk is the specialist to tell you what are you, what is the reason of the pain and how to cure that. So sometimes business and this very often is unconscious. So such analyst, citizen developer, champion should be aware of it and be able to really, drill into the real needs. And just to give you some example, this is how after the first day you could draft the process, and this is what you can see is actually based on a real scenario in the coffee retailer, not to tell you the name, and you can identify what works, what are the challenges. The whole process was about improving the process of price changes for different products on the market. They had around 120 requests for acceptance of price changes annually. They have 20 projects subject to price change. And also they had increased number of audits that required to be able to present the whole decision-making process with all the information. And this whole process was delivered or managed. It's a very big word for what I'm going to say. They managed it in the Outlook mails. I mean, basically mails. So, like, you can imagine how the aggregation of how gathering of all historical information regarding some specific decision could look like surging through these emails. I'm not saying that Outlook has a bad search, but it is. Nevertheless, it was super unmanageable. There were like, we counted, estimated that there was 2,040 hours needed to handle the process. When you aggregate, sum up all the actors in the process, there were 240 hours needed to prepare data for audit. So, like, a lot of time that could be improved. Our goals were very simple. And then I'm going to spend time on this slide, but this is actually a very cool slide. That it's not super important, but actually it gives a lot of effort. It's like low-hanging fruit in the process analysis. This is a RACI radar model that is actually, of course, like different representation of this regular table with the where you identify specific personas in the process and their relation in the process. But actually, when you look at this radar, you already know who to contact first, right? And actually, what are the other maybe very important persons, like general manager, that should be included in some kind of changes or applications, blah blah blah. So yeah, this is let's say, cool tip. Getting back to the main part, in the first day of this hyper sprint, you identify specific places that should be improved. You form the experience journey, how it is, how it should be, what should be, what benefits should appear, and what are our motivations. You build, of course, functional requirements document, regular document, using, and you prioritize the requirements using Moscow method, we can say that. And then you also note down the compromises. I like to name it. Normally, you would name it out of scope requirements, but out of scope is very badly received by the business. They think, like, they often connote this name like we would never deliver that even in the future. But compromises actually put emphasis on the the balance of the priorities and possibilities. So compromises tells them that, hey, we are not delivering this now because we have like 3 days of development, but we will definitely deliver that later if there will be enough time. So yeah, compromises with, of course, argumentation. Architecture, you're building the solution. In this particular solution, we use the Microsoft local platforms. Regular design of the process, coverage with the platforms itself, and in 3 days we built, and you can also build an application that allows to orchestrate the whole process. And oh my god, that was whatever. Yeah, so in terms of business value, what we did was improve of the whole process duration by 70%, improvement of time commitment by 70%, improve of audit preparation time by 90%, and the total ROI was 300%. So if you, and this was just a week activity, hyper sprint. And in your, why actually in your organization you would need you would need to apply hyper sprints approach? Let me just quickly jump to the next slides. This is just a summary of this whole activity. But why we actually need this hyper sprint? So hyper sprint, one hyper sprint gives us some information, but the real important part is to repeat this hyper sprints couple more times, 2-3 times. Why? Because we need information to be able to governance, to be able to control the whole maturing process. And now we are getting to the main part, that is governancing. In this part, once you will deliver these 3 hyper sprints and you gather some good data for the business, you could acquire for you can query for more budget to build a center of excellence, and also gather proper sponsors for the whole licenses for the tools, etc. The ALM, that is application lifecycle management process, should be stated. There's also something that is called spot assessment and detail assessment. I will explain just in a second. And there are also very important communication plan, how the business developer, internal business developer, would build the awareness in the organization that, hey, we can deliver much faster some specific needs projects. So this is let's say regular process for the hyper digital transformation project. You mainly, let's skip the second step. The first step, you have initial idea, you assemble the team, you design, build, test, sometimes iterate once or twice. If that's hyper sprint, the week long sprint, you're probably like 2 or 3 times repeat this stage, and then you check it with the business whether it's in there, whether it's good or not, whether it works and gives business value. But what is spot assessment? So spot assessment is when you're trying to governance the whole implementation. You would like to be sure that the citizen developers, and especially your DevOps and admins, is very they have many objections whether some processes, some needs should be delivered in this quick manner. So the spot assessment should allow us to filter out the processes that could be delivered super quickly from the process that should be at least some that should be analyzed in a simple way, at least. So define the process and measure the process itself. And for instance, the hyper sprint is an example of such manner. Like if you have a process that the spot assessment doesn't need the define step and measure step, and you can quickly get to the assemble team, normally that will be like 1 or maximum 2 days long commitment. But in terms of this week commitment or 2 weeks commitment, you need to understand what you're going to do, because the process probably has some specific factors that makes you be a little bit worried, and you a little bit given more control over what is going to be delivered. After this, at the end of this phase of the steps, you have detailed assessment, whether you decide it can be delivered with low code, or maybe that would be more mature approach with this PDD and SDD documents. PDD stands for process design document, and SD stands for software solution design document, and these documents actually very deeply detail how the process looks like right now and how it should be managed later. And at the end of these additional steps, you have an engagement agreement where actually you need to ask business for the sponsorship, and they can say yes or no. If no, then probably the project could be parked or cancelled totally, or you can repeat the whole process once again, just not to not make more noise on this whole slide. I skipped drawings, but just focus on what it would happen if the agreement will be positive. In the spot assessment, what kind of the assessment there should be? So you could focus on particular, and this is just example. So you can focus on particular parts of the business or departments of specific categories of engagements that should be taken into account, and you mark somehow what is the weight of the specific in the specific row. And of course, what are the questions? What is the mark, and what is its weight? You should be able to make a first draft after this couple hyper sprint. This is why the this probing stage is super important, to give you information to later on make first draft of this spot assessment. The previous, like this table shows you risk category, then you have technical complexity, and based on that you can decide whether this is super simple solution that can be delivered by the citizen developers, or maybe you need to gather more team, assemble better team with the experts maybe from outside your organizations, or you can just make this whole process as a project, as a regular IT delivery made by your team. Next thing is the roles, and this is also very important. Probably most of you are familiar with Center of Excellence roles, but just to give you a quick repetition, the DevOps is people like admins that gives a lot of.
Mike, if I could interrupt you, because we'll need to give a bit of break for our participants, for our audience. True. Yeah, because we are already,
that's true.
10 minutes over the time. So I'm sorry with this, but we'll need to do the break.
Okay, so I'll just quickly jump through these slides to the very end. There are a lot of recommendations, tools to build, approach, licensing and acknowledged. No time to explain all of this. So last slide is this is the almost last slide. If you have any kind of questions, just type me an email or catch me on the LinkedIn. And if you'll be able to rate my presentation and give me feedback, I'll be very happy. And well, Łukasz, tell me if there are any questions I could answer.
Maybe just a simple one. Do you think the developers would become obsolete, like recently NVIDIA CEO claimed, or do we not see it in sight?
Well, to be fairly honest, I don't think developers will be. There will be no need for developers. There are developers just from the reason that there is a long tail of technological debt. So you cannot replace, you cannot resign from the developers if you have any kind of customly made tools. You will still need these people, just like, you know, there are always some need for a COBOL developer because the banking ecosystem is super highly depth in the technological perspective. So like there will be still need for the software developers, but the truth is that, and this is just a prediction from organizations like Gartner or Forrester, is that there will be less need for developers' skills to deliver new applications, automations, bots, you name it. So, and I agree with that, but still it doesn't mean that developers will be not needed in the future.
Yeah, I agree with that. Thank you very much for your speech and for all the insights. And for our audience, we see each other in 8 minutes. And in the last part of our conference, we'll be discussing technical approaches, methods to explaining artificial intelligence models. So let's take a short break, and we see each other at 13:50.
Thank you.